Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Jeremy, and I'm excited to be your onboarding liaison here at Marelton Robotics. First off, we'd like to thank you for choosing Marelton Robotics, and boy, are we excited to have you on board. We know that you have a choice of places to work, and we're glad that you chose us. We think that you will find your work and engagement at Marelton fulfilling, rewarding, and exciting. I'd like to lead a discussion today on some tips and tricks on communication strategies and methods that we use here at Marelton. As with every organization, there are different types of strategies and methods. But here at Marelton, we like to engage our incoming team members with these techniques and methods that we find the most effective in our fast-paced and highly detailed environment. We do this to set the stage for what team members can expect, while also understanding that the role that we all play as team members as well. Starting with the strategies today, we find that most of our employees prefer a direct communication approach. Looking at the slide and referencing the graphic in the top right, I'd like you to take a look at lines 1 and 2. A represents the beginning of a task, while B presents its end state. Internally now, I'd like you to decide which kind of an organization and environment you'd rather work in on a regular basis. I assume that most of us chose option A, as it's the most direct way of getting from point A to point B in the most efficient and effective way without a lot of obstacles or interference. Line A represents how we here at Marelton prefer to communicate and operate. In our line of business, there's very little room for error, so therefore our communications need to be clear and concise, internally and externally, in order to remove the ambiguity and confusion in both our words and our actions. While direct conversations can sometimes be offsetting for new employees, they soon find that removing the obstacles and interference allows our team members to have open and honest conversation, which in turn builds confidence and trust within the teams. This means that managers are clearer in their instructions and expectations, and in doing so, the intent is to provide open and honest communication channels between each of our team members all the way through leadership. That all said, there are some responsibilities in this communication technique. Direct communication requires active and engaged listening. Active listening requires active feedback to confirm comprehension of the situation or task and remove ambiguity and confusion. To showcase different direct types of conversations you may expect here at Marelton, I'd like you to refer now to the examples listed at the bottom of the slide. For example, from a colleague, you may receive an email like, "The pressure readings are outside the acceptable range. Please investigate the root cause." This is a very clear and concise statement with no ambiguity on the task that needs to be accomplished in order to remedy a situation. And in turn, based on your root cause analysis, you may have to send the following email back to your supervisor. "I've identified a potential data flaw or design flaw in the latest iteration of the system, and I need to discuss it with you." Well, what then? In order to avoid producing a product that has inherent issues and will cause subsequent issues and potential harm, something needs to change in the process to eliminate the design flaw. The organization needs to change its course and its efforts and determine an alternative path to success. This brings us to our second approach, pivoting. Because as meticulous and direct as Marelton is in our everyday effort, sometimes we need to change how we're getting the message through as we evolve based on internal and external issues. We do this by pivoting our message to ensure it aligns with the new priorities. This time on this slide, I'd like you to focus on the example of a pivoting conversation at the bottom of the slide. Take a second to read it, and then I'd like you to refer to the graphic in the top right. While the message is clearly articulated, I'd like you to imagine that you're a part of this team. And I'd like you to think between the two following options. 1, would you rather have worked to completion on the project, only to find that now there was a design flaw all along and changes could have been made at any time, but they weren't? Or 2, would you rather have changed course in the earlier stages of the workflow to avoid accomplishing a task that has a known flaw and has the potential to fail or cause harm? Assuming that we'd all choose option 2, as option 1 could be detrimental not only for the organization, but could be completely deflating for our team members who now have to retrace their work and start all over. I assume that all of us would rather work for an organization where the team pauses to reassess how best to move forward while clearly articulating the reason the changes needed to be made through honest and transparent communication to our team members in an immediate sense. While it's sometimes frustrating to change course, it's paramount that every team member has an understanding that not everything will go to plan, and changes will need to be made at some point. In turn, we ask that our team members have the flexibility and the willingness to adapt and trust that a reason behind the change of direction. While inconvenient in the near term, accepting and adopting these changes helps our organization and our team members learn and grow while also validating the importance of every team member in their actions. How do we do this at Merrilton? You would think that most of our conversations are in person and face-to-face on a regular basis, which is the preferred method here at Merrilton. But we're also realistic that this isn't always a possibility. So we have to rely on a couple other tools that not only facilitate the communication, but helps track issues, assign tasks, build metrics, store our data, and also send notifications out. These platforms help automate our team members' understanding of their daily roles and responsibilities and help define a clear pathway to accomplishing regular tasks or pivot the course of work based on internal and external changes. The first one we use is the Jira tool, which is an Atlassian tool specifically designed to input, manage, and track tasks for individuals and teams that in turn feed into our organizational tasks, as shown in the graphic at the bottom left. As a direct communication tool, managers and teams can create these tasks with a specific acceptance criteria that spell out task accomplishment. Jira can also be used as a pivoting tool, as it provides the capability to communicate, collaborate, and update tasks in alignment with necessary changes. Lastly, Jira can be used as a tool to capture metrics as shown in the graphic on the bottom right. These metrics can be utilized internally and also exported externally. Our second platform is SharePoint, which is a Microsoft-based tool that provides a lot of similar functions as Jira, but has a much more configurable and customizable interface that can be used internally and also used externally as a forward-facing tool. SharePoint also has a larger repository that data can be maintained, also with the ability to limit access to specific files and lists. It also provides metrics with powered tools like Power BI, Pivot, Excel, and Word. These graphics can also be maintained and manipulated to show data to specific users. Lastly, SharePoint is much more highly automated. Users can create specialized workflows that send notifications internally and externally on task tracking and task accomplishment. Or it can even create notifications that post to Merrilton's social media page. Circle now. Merrilton Robotics is excited for each of you to join our team, bringing your innovation, creativity, and skill sets every day to the workplace. Together, we are consistently focused on creating an efficient and effective work environment that provides enjoyment and fulfillment. And we do this through direct and pivoting communication strategies, utilizing not only face-to-face meetings, but leveraging the automated capabilities of Jira and SharePoint. We look forward to seeing you around, and as always, feel free to engage us if you have any questions. Thank you.